So you're trying to complete your New Year's resolution and you just started. We are in the first week of January. It's January 6th today. And you probably landed on this page because you're trying to search for something that's going to help you achieve those resolutions. Well, what I'm going to be telling you in this Unravel is how to do that. And also, don't quit just yet. In this Unravel, we're going to be talking about goal setting. Now, 50% of the population create New Year's resolutions. Now, this talk is not just going to be about New Year's resolutions. We're going to be talking about goals in general, goal setting in general. But 50% of the population create New Year's resolutions. And by the end of the year, you get about 10% success rate. Tomorrow will be the end of the first week. And 1 in 4, about 23% of the people who start resolutions drop it within the first week. By the end of January, by the end of the first month, you'll have 64% of the people who started drop out. So this is an interesting statistic that historically has been accurate because basically, if you make a New Year's resolution, you're not going to hold it. Now, there are 3 main topics that people create for New Year's resolutions. And that's to be in better shape, to improve your fitness and health, which is 79%, improve the financial well-being, 69% say money is part of their New Year's resolution. And then 57% say that improved relationships, either finding a new relationship, improving their relationship, or is their goal, is their resolution. So if you think about it that way, 50% of the population and then a quarter of them by the end of the first week drop out. Now, goal setting isn't exactly a science. There's something you could do with goal setting, because let me break it down for you. Goal setting is simply making a plan to get what you want that you don't already have. That's what goal setting is. There's something I want and I don't have it. I want it. It's really not that complicated. That's what goal setting is. That's what a resolution is, New Year's resolution. It's making a plan in the future to have something I don't currently have or to be in a state that I'm not currently in. So what's the problem with New Year's resolutions is, well, we do not plan properly. One of my favorite quotes that's often attributed to Abraham Lincoln is, if you give me 4 hours to chop a tree, I will spend the first 3 sharpening the axe. Basically means is, most of the time should be spent on the thinking and the planning and the strategizing and the preparing for what you're about to do. We live in a culture, I think, in America and maybe the world, but at least in America. I'm from New York, so we have this mindset of do. Everything is about productivity. We're so busy doing, we don't even bother to ask, are we even doing the right thing? We're building ladders up walls, and we're not even sure if it's the right wall. But hey, at least we're building ladders. Woohoo! But that's not, going back to goal setting, it's, we want things. And fitness, money, and relationships tend to be the things we want. Now, we're all kind of setting goals. And goal is really, by definition, is an intent. It's a desire. That's a goal. Basic. We're not talking about the specifics now. We're not like, a goal is only if it has a deadline. Not necessarily. A goal is any intent. If my goal is to pick up this marker, this Sharpie, that's the goal. That's the intent. Now, the difference between something like a goal of picking up a marker versus achieving a physical fitness or certain money or relationship status is the gap between the intent that started here and the outcome, which is the marker has been picked up. The bridge between those two areas from beginning to end is very small. Now, with fitness, money, and relationships, that bridge is a lot bigger. One of the reasons why people fail in their New Year's resolutions is because, according to the studies, is that the goal is too vague. The goal does not force or focus on behaviors. And the goal doesn't, when you're doing the resolution, you're ignoring the progress. we're so focused on the outcome, and I think that's another thing about the culture we're so busy doing. We're also very focused on, it only matters when I get what it is. The only important thing is that I got this. Well, that's true, yeah, but we also neglect the process of getting it. Now, again, from here to here is such a small gap, we don't even think about the process. But when something is more complex and sophisticated, that is when the process is really important. I added another thing over here as to why people fail in their resolutions, and I think it would be a great study to measure this, is over time, I think the culture of impatience has grown in the culture, because everybody wants what they want and they want it now, right now. As soon as you make that order, it better be by your door in right now. And then when you're on your way to whatever, are we there yet? Are we there yet? So I attribute the lack of patience to why we fail resolutions, because we want what we want. That's the human condition. It's like we want what we want, and we've been given. The culture is we get what we want and we get it sooner. So when we're making resolutions, oftentimes that's so far down the line that we're impatient. So aside from being too vague, not focusing on behavior, and not properly or ignoring the progress, we're just impatient. Now, goal setting, when I used to teach goal setting in my workshops, I focused on models. You may have heard of models, things like SMART goals, or SMART meaning specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time bound. I'm going to get to that. But there are so many models out there. There's SMART, there's HARD, which means heartfelt, animated, visualized, required, and difficult. There's the GROW model, which is what's the goal, the reality, the options, and the will. I know I'm rambling on right now. I'm just trying to get to the point. Thing is, goal setting is very simple. It is, I don't have the thing that I want. I want to get the thing that I want. And here's if you're going to take away one thing from this video, from this Unravel, it's one of my favorite authors, Stephen Covey, is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Habit number 5 is something I live by. And that habit is begin with the end in mind. A lot of times when we're setting resolutions, we're in the present moment looking into the future, and we get lost. What we need to do is actually imagine the future. We need to be very vivid as we possibly can, about what does that future state look like. Begin with the end in mind. Stephen Covey talks about there's 2 places where it's achieved, in your mind and in the outcome. In your mind, begin with the end in mind and the example I'm going to use is money. How much money are we talking about? What does financial security look like? Imagine you have achieved, this is what I used to tell my workshops. Imagine you have achieved whatever it is that you're trying to get. How would you describe, as vividly as possible, the environment and the circumstances that you're in? Let's say you had a goal of buying a house. Describe the house that you're in. Describe the city that you're in. Describe how many floors it has. Go as far as saying what color the walls are. Be as vivid as possible in the detail of what that looks like. That's the S part, the specific part in most of these goal setting models. They tend to hover around specific themes, and one of those themes is it has to be very detailed. Goals need to be detailed. You can't be vague about it. I want to lose weight is not a detailed goal. You got to get really into the weeds. That whole part about you got to plan and strategize. Oftentimes when we make resolutions, we just do it on a whim and hope for the best. And usually what happens is it doesn't. As you can tell by the statistic, the best doesn't happen because we're praying and hoping to get lucky. We're not really goal setting. We're just coasting. So you have to be very specific. Begin with the end in mind. Imagine you already have that thing that you're looking for, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a fitness, whether it's money, whatever it is that you're looking for, start there. You already have what it is. Okay, well, Charles, but I have all these ideas. That's the number 2. The other problem is we're not realistic with the things that we want. So let's say in my head, I said, by the end of the year, I want $20 million. Now, I have to be very specific and very detailed because you have to answer, how did you get it? That's the other part. How did you get it? Don't just be specific. How did you get it? Reverse engineer the outcome. And that's where people often fail, because imagine you start in a company and your goal is to become CEO. You start at day one, you have no experience, and I'm going to be the CEO by the end of the year. That is not a realistic goal. And here's the R part, and the smart, usually realistic. Realistic means, do you have a history of achievement? Realistic means, what is the likelihood? Oftentimes we get lost in two phrases, which kind of bother me, but there's possibility and probability. Now, possibility is binary. It's either a yes or no. It's either possible or it's not. And here's the thing about possibility. If there's even the slightest, the slimmest chance that it can happen, it's possible. So essentially, for all intents and purposes, everything is possible. And this is the detriment to a lot of positive thinking. Everything is possible. But the real question people need to ask is, what is the likelihood of this thing going to happen? Is it possible I'm going to win the lottery, or is it possible that I'm going to have Elon Musk write me a check? Sure, even the slightest possibility. Again, the slimmest, we're talking about micro possibility. It's either yes or no. Well, I don't know about Elon Musk, he doesn't know me. But again, there's a chance, and we often hold on to this chance. What we lose sight of is the probability. What is the likelihood that this is going to happen? And that's not a yes or no question. That is a percentage question. So when we think about realistic, what is the probability that and you got to look through your history. Have I demonstrated a history of achievement, of getting to that point? So if you've never been promoted to such a degree from administrative assistant to CEO in a year, what is the chance that you're going to be the CEO of this company? Not likely. Now, can you create a goal? Can you make a plan to become CEO? Yeah, but oftentimes we lose the realistic nature of it. It's too vague. We go as far as, I want to lose by the end of the month. If I have 30 pounds of fat by the end of the month, I'm going to have 10 pounds of fat. That is not a realistic goal. Is it possible? Sure, but realistically, not really. The last thing that I want to point out with regards to New Year's resolutions and to goal setting in general is it has to be actionable. Now, I know a lot of these goal setting models say that things need to have time. You have to have a deadline, which is important. Yes, a deadline is good to have when you're creating goals. But what's just as important, I would say even more important, is that whatever goal you're doing is that it is actionable. That A part in the SMART, it means actionable, which means it is behavior driven. It means you have to do something in order to get what you want. Now, where we fail oftentimes is when we're making goals, where we're making resolutions, is that we are depending on other people to do things. Your resolutions should be strictly on things you can do. If my goal is I'm going to wait until they make alcohol illegal to stop drinking, that's not an actionable goal. That is it's called an external locus of control. It means I'm depending on someone else to make a decision before I can even do anything. Instead, is next time I'm at the liquor store, I'm going to turn around. That is a behavior I can do. And that's something we can focus on. So aside from specific and aside from realistic, it has to be behaviorally based. It has to be something you can physically do. Go somewhere, apply something, do something. That's the action oriented. There are a lot of models in goal setting, and I just came back from the gym earlier today and encountered some resolutioners, and the sad part is the gym was packed. And I'm not a huge fan of a packed gym. It disrupts my momentum. And yeah, essentially I would say for the resolutioners, I'd rather not they be there, but I want what's best for them. So if them going to the gym is gonna help them be successful and happier, I'd rather have that than my discomfort. The problem is they go there blindly, and they have no plan whatsoever. They just walked in there and hope to get lucky. They forget the actionable aspects. So by tomorrow, apparently 1 in 4 of these resolutioners will be done. They're going to drop it. And by the end of the year, we're going to have a 10% success rate. This isn't just for New Year's resolutions. This is just for overall goal setting. How do you make goals? How do you set yourself up so that you get what you want? And the bigger question you want to sit down with yourself is, why do I want what I want? That part is the realistic aspect also. Why do you want what you want? Is it because someone else asked you to do it? Is it because this is something that's expected of you? It's not that it's right or wrong. It's just that having this awareness is key to making sure that you achieve it. Because I want you to get what you want. I want you to pick up the marker. I want you to get in shape. I want you to get the money, get the relationship. But you have to put in the work. You have to spend the 3 hours sharpening this axe before you start chopping down the tree. Stop thinking about productivity and thinking, I have to be doing something. You have to be doing the right thing. And that's where you lose yourself. You're not doing the right thing. The last part I want to say, talk about with goal setting, is we often ignore, or we forget that some goals require multiple steps. Like picking up this marker, it's not a lot. Again, the gap is very small, but for bigger gaps, when you're telling yourself, I want to be fit and healthy, first of all, you have to define that. Be specific. What does fitness and healthy mean to you? You reverse engineer that. Or how did you get fit and healthy? And then you do some research. How long does it usually take? You got to put in the work. You got to put in the work, and you got to understand that sometimes these things take time. We lose patience when we do not see immediate results, and that's a part that you have to hold yourself accountable to, is that you will not see you may not see immediate results, and that shouldn't discourage you. So be specific. Be very specific. Begin with the end in mind. Let's say you've already achieved whatever it is you want to achieve. What does that look like? Be as detailed as possible. What does that partner look like? What color is their hair? What color is their skin? What color is their eyes? What style do they have? It's better to aim for bullseye at 100%, because you're never going to get 100%, likelihood not. But it's better to aim for bullseye and miss by 10, 20% than to not aim at all and hope you land on the center or anywhere on the board. You're better off walking in with some plan, even a poorly made up one. I do not encourage a poorly made up one, but you want an effective one. The more effective you are at this part, at the goal setting, the greater the likelihood that you're going to get what you want. So this is going to be this is the first of 3 videos that I'm going to be talking about with regards to this is goal setting. The next one's going to be about what success really means. And then the last part is going to be talking about the tools, like the virtues that will really help you in obtaining this. This is one of them. This is the ability to have patience is a virtue. Sitting down and honing in and strategizing, that is also a virtue. Being patient is a virtue. So getting what you want takes work. You have to kind of acknowledge that. It takes thinking, it takes planning, it takes strategizing, and most importantly, it takes patience. So if you've gotten this far, thank you for listening. I hope to see you at the next videos, the next concept unravelings that are coming up, and I hope you don't give up on your resolutions. I hope watching this video, even if one of you were thinking about it and you said, you know what, let me sit down and rethink this, that's what I want to hear. That you thought about that, and that you're going to change something, that you're going to give it a try, and you're going to give it an actual try. So thank you for sitting with me. I look forward to seeing you at the next videos next week, and 2 weeks after that, I'm going to finalize with the other tools, the other virtues that will really improve your ability to get what you want. So I'm Chuck. This is Chuck Unraveled, and thank you for sitting here with me for this unraveling.